Okay, you're gonna start by grabbing the bag with a P on it. That's the piping bag. You're gonna cut off the tip of the bag nice and small to start. You can always make it bigger, and then do a little test run on the paper towel to get some practice there. Okay, so now you're gonna start piping the border on the cookie. I like to pick somewhere where there's like a little angle to start, and then you wanna get a continuous stream of icing flowing from the bag. So you wanna kind of apply a decent amount of pressure so that there's a little bit constantly coming out of the bag. Now you have your border piped and you can get the flooding going. So this is a thinner consistency icing, and you're just gonna fill in all around the border you just piped. As you can see, I like to start on the outside portion, kind of get that filled in. You don't want to go too crazy and put too much on there because then it will overflow the boundaries of the cookie. You can see in the beginning I had cut the hole on that bag a little bit bigger because otherwise it's going to take forever to get that all filled in. So the flooding bag, you can cut the hole a little bigger than the piping one since you're not doing a ton of detail here. So we're getting that all filled in. All right, now we're gonna work on the cute little monster feet. So you're gonna cut a hole nice and small on that black piping bag. Do a little practice run on your paper towel. I had it too small, so I'm gonna make it a little bit bigger. Okay, there we go, that looks good. And now we're gonna start outlining the feet. There we go. Outline the other foot. There we go. And then we're gonna use that same piping bag to fill in that space. This icing is a little bit thicker, so you can use one of those toothpicks, or I use the bag itself to kind of spread the icing within that little space there. Okay. Now it's time to pipe the border of the ears. So you're going to use the piping consistency purple icing there to outline the ear. There's the right side and then the left side. And now we need to pipe a smaller shape within the ear using that same piping consistency icing. There we go. And then I didn't quite like the shape of that one. Honestly, it's fine, but you can use that toothpick if you messed up. You can scrape that icing out of there and then give it another go. And then you'll have to clean off the tip of the icing bag sometimes because it can crust on there and then it makes it harder to squeeze the icing out. So every now and then you're going to want to do that. I fill in that little space with the piping consistency before we add the flood to prevent what's known as cratering. It just makes the icing look more bubbly and nice. So now we're putting the flooding consistency in, filling that portion. Use the little toothpick if you need to fill in those little spaces you can't quite get to. And then same thing on the other side. Remember to not overdo it. It's really easy to overflow in those little spaces. That's why the toothpick is nice to kind of push that icing around where you need it. Okay, now it's time to give this guy some personality, starting with the eyes. So we're gonna clean off the tip of the black bag there, and then you'll start by piping 2 circles kind of on the upper third of the monster there. It's okay if they're not perfect. Might even make it more fun if they're a little wonky or asymmetrical because it is a monster after all. After you get the black eyes filled in there, you can use the toothpick if you need to even anything out, but the next step is going to be to add the little white dots in the center of the eye. So remember to cut the tip of the icing bag nice and small, and then you're going to do the dot in the center and then the upper left portion of the eye. Now to add the mouth, you're going to use that black piping bag and do a nice little squiggly. Once again, it doesn't have to be exactly like mine. You can work with whatever you end up putting on the cookie, and then add some cute little white teeth, just little triangles somewhere on the line. You could even do one on the top, one on the bottom. That might be kind of cute. Get creative with it, and then fill in those teeth with that white icing. Take your little toothpick, and then that can help even out the icing a little because the white is a little bit thicker consistency. So just fiddle around with it till you get it looking how you want. Now we get to add the little candy corn to the monster. So you're going to take your piping consistency and add a nice little dot, a little smaller than the size of the candy corn, and then stick the candy corn right on top. And just gently set that candy corn on there. You don't need to put much pressure at all. Now we're piping the arm. So do a nice steady flow of icing and let it kind of loop onto the top of the candy corn there. And then squeeze for a little bit longer when you get to the base of the candy corn so it can fill in that little gap. We're adding in the little squigglies in the arms, so then you can put the flooding consistency icing on top to fill in that border you created. The little squiggles just help make it look more bubbly in appearance. And then fill that in. Now remember, don't overdo it because it's going to be really easy to overflow that area because it's really small. Just use that toothpick to fill in everything else. This final touch is not absolutely necessary. I just think it makes it look a little more finished. So you're just going to outline the border of the cookie again using that piping consistency. Get that nice steady flow of icing and just kind of let it work for you, and you're guiding it with your hand. Going around the ears as well. There's 1 and 2. Okay, that's all done. Now this is where you can get creative, have some fun. You can use that black icing and add some eyebrows. You can make your monster look angry, concerned, add eyelashes, whatever you want to do. And now you have the finished cookie. Congratulations.